I don't know how this works because, like I said, I've never had a real interest in it. But apparently, they have a rule, or this particular company has a rule, where you can't have more than 40% of the 9,000 made in one day. So I'm assuming if you were to make more money, and I'm saying this facetious because I don't know, but if that's true, like if you make more than 40% of the 9,000 in one day, does that fail you? Does that like cause you to break a rule, or they just don't count that and you just got to keep moving? I don't know, but I plan on reading through all the stuff so that way I can sit down with him and hopefully next week he'll do better than he's been doing. But today I told him this is what you're looking for, and when you see it, push the button. I'd like to say that that was enough to satisfy him, but no, no. In some ways, it felt like that bolstered the willingness to want to do his own way. Like he somehow saw something new. He learned something new from that. And therefore, that piece of paper that has a simple set of rules that he has to follow need not be concerned with. So, what is he exhibiting? A character flaw. Those of you that learn from me and you don't listen to what I'm telling you to do, follow the bias that I'm outlining. This is where I think the market's going to go. And you're fading that and then crying, sending emails, posting things on Twitter, complaining to other people in videos about me when you're doing everything opposite and then struggling and then trying to find the blame on me or something outside of yourself. That's nonsense. You have to snap out of it. You have to snap. That you can't do those things. Number one, the world isn't going to let you do that. You'll have a rude awakening. You can lie to yourself in your trading, but eventually you're going to have to see that person in the mirror and it's going to hurt when you have to come to grips with you're burning it down. You're the one holding the gasoline. You're the one that has the lighter in your hand. You're doing it. Each time you're doing that, you're causing that fire that causes more damage and everything has to be rebuilt all over again from scratch. But it's not just a reset. You're bringing something new each time. Depression, fear, concern of how many more you can afford. All those things you're bringing into that new reset. It's not just $99 anymore, is it? It's really expensive. Really expensive. And each time it's going to get harder and harder. Because at some point, you're going to start doing the math on how much money you've thrown into resets and how far you're behind. See, when you first start, if you're new, you've never really put any money in the marketplace, the idea seems novel. It's wonderful. Like, hey, wow, this is an opportunity for me to go in here and not really use any of my money. And then suddenly you discover you put a whole lot of your money into it, one reset at a time. Every new monthly due payment, and you want the maximum. So you want to give them $400 a month while doing nothing right. And you build up a list of resets, each one costing about $100, and not making anything, not even getting to what is it? Step two, where you're considered funded. All that money being wasted, all that time being wasted, and all of that scar tissue being created in your subconscious about what it is that makes you a trader. And it's interesting. It's almost impossible for you to recognize that what you're doing is wrong. You're telling yourself what you're doing is right. It's just has to be done longer and it'll start working. If you just recalibrated that tenacity, that hoopfa, that moxie, that thing that just says, I don't care. I'm doing this. If you applied that to a model that works with sound logic, you're invincible. You're invincible. Doesn't mean you won't have losing trades. It means even with losing trades, you're not going to deviate. You're going to stick to what works. It's proven itself to you. The back testing has proven it. I have proven it. I've shown live this is what it's going to do, and it does it. This is what time it's going to form, and it does. But if you're not going to reach for that logic, and what you're doing is costing you money and resetting and frustration and becoming more and more agitated by not following the rules, imagine what would happen if you started following the rules. If you just simply did what you were told to do, how much easier would it become? At some point, you're going to have a whole pile of ashes, and you'll be sitting there looking at all the things that you've wasted time, energy, and money. And when you really sift through those ashes and honestly see what you've done, you really didn't use what I taught. You really didn't listen to the lectures and the advice about what not to do and what to do. You really didn't do that. But hey, look at that pile of ashes you got. You were doing something. You weren't wasting time studying, right? You were doing something. And the something you were doing wasn't profitable. And that weighs on you subconsciously. And over time, it'll make you toxic. And you'll start being spiteful. Not to yourself. You won't hold yourself accountable, but you'll point the finger at everyone else. Your friends, your family, me, our community, trading in general. Because it hurts too much to identify the fact that you did this to yourself. Nobody guided you incorrectly. You did everything wrong and you made those decisions. Are you in a position to be accountable for that? Where you can say, yep, if I'm being honest, I made these mistakes on my own. Nobody told me to do that. I did it on my own. Because that's what a trader is. It's a person that says, I own my results, good or bad. I can live with myself because I'm following a model. I have a rule-based idea that I'm going to stick to that allows me to be objective. I'm not going to be swayed by my notions. I'm not going to be swayed by the psychological impact of what other people think I should do and how I should trade.